Hi guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot, and I'm here today to bring you a message for the sign of Cancer for January 2023. Keep in mind it's general, so take what you feel resonates for you, disregard the rest, go about your day, and know that no matter what messages come through, it's still up to you, your active free will, the choices you make, and the steps you take in your world to get whatever fulfillment it is you'd like to see. To me, this is personal freedom, it's personal power, and my friends, it's something that lies at the tips of your fingers and the soles of your feet. So use this power to do wisely. So for all my subscribers as well, I just want to give you guys a big shout out. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys for being here. You guys mean the world to me. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If this resonates and you'd like to see more, you want to hang out in my kitchen more often, please hit subscribe. Join the journey with me. I'd love to have you along this ride. And before I get started, I'm just going to take a moment to call in spirit. We're going to ask Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, my team of light, and any of your spirit guides that would be here for the highest good of the entire collective to join us. I'm going to ask them to guide, guard, bless, and protect myself, this reading, and any of you who would ask for it, as well as to use me as the clearest channel possible, delivering messages that are for the highest good of us all watching. No second-rate messages here today, but for the most far-reaching, okay? So before I get into the tarot, I want to bring you guys the message from Life Oracle for some spiritual advice. And this is by Mario Dugue, if anyone's interested. I find these cards to be really, really interesting and usually quite on point for what I need in my life. So I want to share them with you guys. So let's see what we have here for Cancer, January 2023. Remember, guys, time's fluid. So even though I'm putting January 2023, we're at the end of it. This is just whatever Spirit wants to bring through at this time. So if it resonates for something from the past, that's what it's meant for. If it resonates for something that hasn't happened yet, and in a couple weeks you're like, oh yeah, that's what she was talking about, then take it. But don't try to force it if it's not for you, okay? So let's see what messages we have here. Thank you. This card has come up for quite a few of the readings. I reap what I sow. And I think it's a really big, important time for the universe. It's kind of like, hey, remember karma? This also goes to what I was saying about we have this active free will at our fingers and our feet. We have the power to make changes in our world. So whatever energy we put forward, we're going to see that come back to us. And I'm hearing tenfold. Spirit's like tenfold. Whatever you do, you're going to see this energy come back to you. So I'm going to read you the card and we'll get another one. It says, I am aware of all that I create around me. Sooner or later, all that I do and all that I think comes back to me in some way. Be it positive or negative, I will reap the fruits of what I've sown. Therefore, I abundantly fill my life with love and light, or light and love. For the seeds of light I sow, the harvest, I will harvest the greatest richness. Right away, and my hand has been itchy, so this is my left hand. I don't remember what that is. You guys want to let me know. Either I'm paying a bill or some money's coming to me. But there could be a lot coming to you. You could really be seeing the rewards for all of the labor, all of the time that you've put into something. And what I heard as well is this is quality time. Now, I also want to say, because Spirit was talking about rotten apples, about the fruits of our labor. If we've had a rotten attitude in our world, we may be harvesting some rotten apples. And these kinds of things are, what I heard is unusable. They're a pretty good lesson, but it's not like you're going to make applesauce out of rotten apples. You may have to cut off some sides if there's still some goodness. And here's what Spirit's reminding me. Always look for the goodness. So you may have a few rotten apples here and there, but look at the harvest in general. How is the entire harvest rotten, or is there just a couple ones? Because there's more here. So with these apples, if there are rotten ones, you want to make sure you're not storing them with the good apples, because this is just going to spread, right? It's going to make the other apples rotten. This could also come down to our social circle. If we have, let's call them rotten apples, okay, people around us who are kind of toxic and squishy and juicy, okay, and potentially could make us sick, because if we eat a rotten apple, we're not going to feel really good, right? If there is someone around you who you can identify as this apple, let's say, this is where Spirit's like, you know what, you don't need to keep them. Put them in the composter, right? Or, you know, do something where this is no longer around you and you're not responsible for this. So also I think that what I heard is take the blame off you. Don't allow other people to lay blame on you. And I also heard somebody may be trying to call you the rotten apple. And this is where what we need to do again is remember everything that we do, it comes back to us. So if you've got people pointing the finger, you're the rotten apple, disregard it. Okay, this may be a place where you really have to go, okay, what did I do? What is my actions? Have I done something a little bit rotten or underhanded? Have I been a bit sneaky? There's something about like side eye here as well, okay? But I think that when you look at this, you're going to be like, no, I didn't. I'm justified in my actions. For some of you as well, you may be getting the fingers pointed at you because you stood up for yourself, because you stood up for your family and your loved ones. And if we have people saying, you're the rotten apple, you're poisoning everyone around us, what I heard is narcissistic rage as well. This is not for everyone, but there will be people, the more you stand up for yourself, the more boundaries you put, the healthier you become, the more secure and stable in your world. You could have, for lack of better terms, and I'm actually going to use the word Spirit put in my brain, was jealous assholes, okay? And maybe that's not the nicest way to put it, but might be exactly who they are in your world, okay? So just remember that to separate yourselves from those kinds of people, those kinds of situations, and not to allow the toxicity of other people to come into your world, because that's not your karma, that's theirs, right? So don't allow their rottenness, and this could be their thoughts as well, to permeate into yours, because whatever harvest you have, whatever abundance you have, my friends, it's coming in hot, it's coming in strong, and it's all for you. So this is again for all the haters. Just remember as well, like, they're gonna get their karma for whatever they're doing, and the facade or the false mask, it will eventually fall off, even if they've been able to show their good side for a while, and the rest of the world or the family or your friends or the people at work haven't yet seen that. Well, okay, they're showing the good side, but what about that whole back end that's rotten as shit, right? Like, it's squishy and juicy, and I'm not even sure how it hasn't shown up yet. It will in time. It's not our karma to point that out. So let's see what other messages we have. Spirit, what else would you have for some spiritual advice going forward for Cancer for January 2023? Okay, this hasn't flipped, but it wants to. I'm going to take it out, and we're going to get one more card, please. You're going to show me lots. I think that it's also because somebody has a hidden agenda, is what I heard. But what I was hearing is there's some stuff hidden, okay? Unconditional love was at the bottom of the deck. I see light in everyone. I see beyond the personality and feel compassion for all my brothers and sisters of the light. I do not judge anyone, but accept others as they are. I feel unconditional love for everyone without expecting anything in return. I discover what is divine in each being, and I join my soul with theirs so that we can grow in universal love. This is important, that we feel like the people around us are loving us and giving us love without some sort of condition. That also, this means that we can still love that rotten apple, but we don't need to spend time with it. And unconditional love for ourselves means maybe putting up some barriers between them, maybe putting up some boundaries. And again, there's this, I feel like your rotten apple may want to push past these barriers, push past this boundary, but they are coming with a condition that they will only like you, love you, or treat you fairly and well if you fall in line with what they'd like you to do. And this is not living an authentic version of ourselves. So the card that I want, that like was wanting to come out, is application. It is time to put everything you've learned, all of your life's experience. Now's the time. It's time to come into fruition and apply your knowledge. So like we said, we may know now from past experiences that if we leave the apple that's a little too soft, so let's say my fruit basket, if I leave an apple in there that's gotta go because I'm too lazy or didn't notice it or anything like that to get it in the composter, there's a bunch of things that's going to happen. First off, it's going to attract massive fruit flies, which then are not only going to eat the apple that's going a bit rotten, but they're going to go to my good stuff, right? It's going to permeate. And then if this is touching another one of the good apples, this rot is going to infect it, okay? So I know that. you guys know that. It's time to, what I heard as well, is if we want to reduce food waste and things like this, apply all the skills we have. This may not even be about somebody's toxic person around them. It could just be some sort of environmentally toxic things that we do, or things that we need to learn how to incorporate into our lives, okay? So this says, the laws of universal love take root in my life. Everything learned during my spiritual quest now must be applied. The knowledge of the mind will be transformed into life knowledge. I radiate love at all times. I overcome my ego. I allow light to transform my heart and my thoughts, and I act in accordance with the will of God. Source Spirit, you're following your life path and your mission. And I think it's really important because, throughout our life, everything's a learning experience. But now is the time to apply these lessons. The eyes of the heart. We have achievement that came out and welcoming happiness. Divine love manifesting in me, through me, and around me attracts all that I need for the greatest benefit of my soul. As I work to increase my inner light, I become the emanation of love and joy. Thus I reap the happiness and beauty of all that I have sown. And this again is, you reap what you sow. How you are in this world, what I heard is, not only does it affect your karma, some sort of issues in the afterlife, because I do feel like, I kind of believe that we go in for a rest period, right? That whether some of us may call it heaven, some of us may call it the ethereal, wherever it is that we're going for our soul to rest in between lifetimes, this is where there would be a lot of learning that would need to happen, and as well as things that we don't learn in this lifetime, we may have to redo again because we didn't get it right this time. So this is what I heard is as well with the eyes of the heart, looking at ourselves graciously, looking at ourselves honestly, looking at our actions honestly, and taking the time to make sure that we're in line with our heart and we're doing what we feel is best for us and right in our worlds, and not taking advantage of other people. So what I heard, that's the not taking advantage, right? The eyes of our heart. I rediscover the real beauty in every person and everything. I see beyond the personality and its superficial nature, and see with my heart the energy of love that dwells in all of us. I am now filled with wonder at the presence of God in all that is. The eyes of the heart allow me to see the divine shining everywhere. I now live in the true light. And this is also with the eyes of the heart. We may see someone, I'm going to again go with this toxic person or this rotten apple in our worlds. A lot of times, especially if we're empathic, we want to give excuses for why they are this way. So some of us, if we grew up with an abusive, let's say, parent, or if we have an abusive partner, and this could be verbal, mental, emotional, physical, like sometimes we see so much that we just want to look at it and go, well, they had a really bad childhood, or all of this trauma has happened to them in the world. I understand. But what this does is, what I heard is, it keeps you tied to the narcissist. Because yes, we've all had things in our world, and many of us may have had some severely traumatizing childhood or experiences within our world. But the thing is, as we grow, as we mature, as we age, we're not a kid anymore. And while those things may be really affecting our inner psyche, maybe educating us on certain decisions that we're making, we need to put the grown-up shoes on now and be responsible for our own healing. Because if you always are giving with the eyes of your heart to even this rotten apple kind of people, there is, again, you can see that this is why they are, but don't allow that to create excuses for the behavior that then becomes where that behavior is acceptable because of this. Because all they're doing is now traumatizing you, potentially traumatizing your children or people around you. And what I heard was potentially, now this is not, I'm not saying someone's murdered, but getting away with murder. That whole, it's just a saying, right? But that some people can just get away with everything. Well, it's also because people have allowed them to. Something else that's coming up is it's verbal, is what I'm hearing. Verbal abuse could be physical, but someone's saying, well, they were mad, they were upset, so they lashed out. Okay, But there is healthy ways to deal with the anger that doesn't involve kicking anybody's butt, that doesn't involve screaming and yelling and calling people names or trying to put other people down. There is a real importance, I think, and this is where this application comes in. Because everything that you've seen, potentially in the past, Cancer, I'm on the cusp, so this kind of resonates for me as well. I've been, at times, so understanding of people who have treated me rotten. Because I can see through with the eyes of the heart that they're wounded. But they're wounding me in the process, and all that's doing is creating problems for me in my world, right? So I think that this is where, for all of you, if you're resonating with this, definitely time to accept now that we have achieved something massive. Even coming to these realizations as well, everything that you've learned, by putting it into practice, you are achieving greatness. For real. With the simplicity of a child and the wisdom of an old wise man, I move forward for my own sake. I live without fear because I will always be in good company on this journey towards the light. For some of you, I do feel like there may be a fear of, I heard reprisal, a fear of if you set these boundaries, the repercussions or actions. But again, you reap what you sow. So I imagine that there's also going to be a really importance here on detoxing. Detachment is important because, again, it doesn't matter how angry someone is. They heard even they could be love bombing us. They could be realizing that they've done something that has had us where we're like, no, we've set our boundaries up, and now they could be trying to come back, be like, hey, I'm showing my good side. I'm not rotten anymore. I fixed that. And showing you everything you think you need to see, or they think you need to see, that creates this, hey, I've changed. But what I feel like deep down in the core of the situation is you cannot unrot that apple. It just doesn't work like that. So it is possible, absolutely, for people to change, to heal, to grow. But they have to be willing and wanting to. So my advice in this situation is just, what I heard is be a little leery, okay, if you have a rotten apple coming back around trying to say, oh no, I've changed. Because use your experiences here, okay? I do feel like the last part I'm going to say about that is just with the use your experiences. You have the Four of Bows in the reverse here, but this is the Wildwood Tarot. For some of you, this is a false twin, okay, a false twin flame, or someone who's really tried to manipulate you and use tactics to gain a stronghold on your heart. That's not for everyone, but that's just what I heard, okay? But if you've known someone for like 10 years and you've seen this cycle repeat itself, believe what you see, because when they show you their true self, that's who they are. And I think that this is a reminder not to romanticize people, not to romanticize trauma, not to romanticize experiences, and to really trust your own self and to really trust your own understanding of the situation. How did this situation make you feel? How did these people make you feel? And how do you feel when you said, F off and get out of my life? Because once you put these boundaries up, you may actually feel a huge weight lifted. Now, I do feel like, and this is something, you may experience some psychic attack as well as you start cutting cords with this kind of individual or releasing this. And I think it's because whoever this rotten apple is, they've spent a lot of time thinking about you. They've spent a lot of time thinking about how to get you back, whether that is back into their world or whether that is somebody's a jealous asshole, like I said before, and just wants to destroy you because how dare she say that? How dare he say that? How dare you call me out on my lies? How dare you not allow me to abuse you anymore? How dare you show your strength? How dare you intimidate me? If by being strong and being secure in your world and setting boundaries up is pissing someone else off, this is a pretty clear indication they're not your people, okay? Because they've benefited from you being down, and that's what they want to do again. So let's get into some tarot wisdom, please. Welcoming happiness. So there's a lot of negative here, but that's not what I want to dwell on, because welcoming happiness is you're finally freeing yourself. This could be a narcissistic individual again, even for some of you. If this is a truly disturbed individual as well, you may be dealing with like a sociopathic person that all you can do is just avoid contact with. And ignore the fact that they're probably spreading a fuck ton of lies about you behind your back, telling people around you that you've done certain things or that you're horrible, because my friends, your true light and your true nature, it's going to shine through, and eventually, like I said it earlier, the people around them are going to realize that apple's rotten, but that apple over there, damn, it's looking hella good. So you have the Eight of Vessels here as well, and I think this is important because this is a real space where what I've heard is, as everything's coming into alignment, we're probably going through a massive purge, okay? And this is definitely water here, Cancer. This is really needing to see, when we're filling our cups up, what is meant for us and what is not, because this water represents emotions, and we've probably had a multitude of them, a whole lot going on, especially if you resonated with, emotional trauma, emotional abuse, or anything like that. There's stuff that we're holding into our core where we may even have created a false narrative on who we are because of how other people have treated us and what other people have said about us. But now is the time to go, hell no, that's not who I am. And these experiences, yes, they shape me, but they are no longer going to have a hold on my heart. For some of us, this is definitely, therapy. For some of us, this is meditation. For some of us, this is just, as feelings come up, as we acknowledge experiences, to really sit with this and go, how does this make me feel? How is it tied to something that maybe is happening in my world right now? And how can I use this to create a positive change going forward in my world? Because what I call this is empowered vulnerability. That we're going to sit with our vulnerable. We're not going to do something like drink or smoke it away, or any of the eat it, right? Any of the things that could be coming up because we have feelings. And especially what I heard is, especially if they're kind of traumatic memories or something along those lines, or to potentially too, even feelings that we don't know where they're coming from. This is where we need to sit with them, because this is often, okay, if you're an emotional eater like me, where we're going to reach for some sort of snack because there's an emptiness or there's a feeling and we don't understand it. It's not very comfortable, so we're going to fill ourselves up. But as we're filling ourselves up, what else are we doing to our bodies? What else are we doing to our digestive systems? Because that's also, I'll be a little, okay, so side note, but the last, I would say 2 weeks, I know I've been experiencing some digestive issues because I have some digestive health issues. But I also feel like there's been a huge purging of our root chakra, a huge purging of family bloodlines. And for my friends here who are generational curse breakers, who are getting emotional, but you're here because you don't fit that mold. You're here to break that fucking mold into a bunch of pieces and to show your family, everyone around you, that no, that's not the most healthy way, and I'm going to break this. I am no longer to be in this stronghold anymore. So there is a real sense, I feel like, of taking care of your body, because it's the only vessel we have in this world, and to really take a clear look on, is there something that's bothering me? Am I eating my feelings? Am I drinking, smoking away my feelings, screwing away my feelings, whatever it is, right? Exercise. There's a point where, while all these things are okay in moderation, it comes down to that if we avoid it, we are not going to feel the celebration. This Four of Wands is one joyous, happy friggin' card, right? But if we're not in line with our own emotions and we're not aware, I heard also of our intentions, or if we're allowing our emotional unhealedness, I guess is the way to put it, to spill out and we're allowing frustration or rage to really affect the lives of the people around us, we also need to go, what is going on? Because we don't want to be that person. We don't want to treat people bad. We don't want to be the person that someone was to us. So this is also where this is really, really being aware of how we feel and how we're treating people and how we make people feel. Because your experience, people's experiences of you, you could be the nicest person in the entire world, but on a bad day, you meet someone at a grocery store in the checkout, let's say, and this person says something and you snap, you lose it, you call them names, you yell at them, you scream at them, you call the manager, and what did they do? Nothing. But you're having a bad day. And if you excuse that you were having a bad day, maybe everyone else around you thinks you're the most wonderful person in the world, but that grocery store clerk has now been wounded and does not think you're a good person at all, and has probably, this is going to trigger some emotional responses in them, and it's not fair to anyone, right? So, not saying that you do this, but you also may know people who do this. We have the 9 of Arrows here, which talks about dedication. This also can be the 9 of Swords, which is sleepless nights and nightmares, and her eyes are closed. Because at this point, I feel like it's just trying and trying and trying to get it right, but make sure your eyes are open, not closing your eyes anymore to these arrows, which could be daggers. It could be other people's words that have come at you. For some of you, this is intrusive thoughts as well, and when I discuss the psychic attack, this is where smudging yourself with sage or putting up an energetic bubble, as well as what I heard is wearing bronzite. I felt really called in this to wear a lot of black. I have black onyx on my ears. This is black obsidian. I have onyx on my finger, not to give you guys the middle finger, but there's onyx on my finger. I was also guided to bring silver sheen obsidian and smoky quartz, and I have here today with me yellow calcite. And I felt really strong to wear yellow because this is being strong in who you are, not who other people tell you you are, and also being accountable and responsible for your own actions. So we have the hawk here with the Knight of Arrows, and you also have the 6 of Abundance. And I think that this is important because I do think it's taking a bird's eye view over something that's really troubled you, something that may have caused a lot of trauma, and remembering now to open up your eyes that you're going to come at this with determination because you're going to achieve your goals, and people are going to recognize you for this. You have the 6 of bows here with abundance. There is not going to be lack. And I think this also comes down to, with this 8 of Cups underneath it, we want to come at things with an abundance mindset, not a lack mentality, because as we come with a lack mentality, that means that we're bringing this more and more. So what I heard is about money too. If you've been experiencing money troubles, some positive affirmations regarding wealth or abundance. Abundance comes to me. Money flows freely to me. I am careful with my money. I am good with my money. I have enough. Things like this, because if we're constantly telling ourselves we don't have enough, we're going to keep living that. So I'm going to grab a message here from the Wisdom of the Trees Oracle, just some guidance and some wisdom that they would like to help us out throughout this. And we have here the Montezuma Cypress. Okay, so let's see here. Montezuma Cypress. Is about solidity. And this is about your character, about your trunk, about your body, right? Maybe it's time to build some muscle. Oops, sorry about the glare, guys. But this says, I grow at the meeting point between the land and the water. I teach you that what you need that you need a balance between the material and spiritual world to survive. I am solid and strong, and I can give you the same sense of solidity. Are you feeling bogged down by worries or difficulties? Learn to focus your attention on whatever is most important to you or the situation, and don't dilute your power by concentrating on trivial matters. Much like this, whatever this rotten apple may be trying to say or spread, don't pay attention to that, because that's taking your energy away from your mission, taking your energy away from your goals, And it may be really helpful as well. What I heard is if you are feeling like you're experiencing psychic attack. So what I was going to say, I don't know if I finished my whole sentence about it, but bronzite will send it back. Okay, so it just may be really important staying solid in yourself, staying strong in your mental character. And if you're getting a lot of stuff or remembrance or thinking a lot about someone who's hurt you, you may want to journal it and then ask spirit, send it away. Nope, nope. If this keeps coming up, say it's not welcome, these thoughts aren't welcome, and send it back, return to sender. So I'm going to end this message with a message from the Sacred Self-Care Oracle on how to best take care of yourself or ourselves, because like I said, I'm on the cusp of Cancer as well. How to best take care of ourselves in this next cycle so that we can welcome this happiness with open arms and apply all the lessons we've learned to this situation and achieve our goals to keep strong in our faith. Thank you. Family. Focus on your family. This is what's important in this world, right? And this isn't about, it doesn't look toxic. This is embracing the people that we care about. And instead of focusing on maybe there's a few individuals that they don't bring us happiness, they don't bring us joy, they don't make us feel worthy, we avoid them. There's nothing that says that you need to have relationships with family members just because of blood. So if you're healing, if you're going through a lot of healing, and especially if there's a family member who's responsible for some trauma and they're unwilling to heal or unwilling to see their side of this, what they've done too, distance yourself, because this is what's best for your mental health. Give your family, give your kids, give someone you love a hug, because this is healing medicine as well. So I'm going to give you a great big one. Give yourself a hug. Know that you are loved. Know that you are worthy. Know that you are strong. And my dears, you got this. I love you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.